Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby was not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Hey, everybody, welcome to an all-new episode of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. You just caught me pouring a beer live on the air.
On beverage, are you drinking another New Belgium beverage?
I am. I was previously drinking Higher Plane IPA, but I am now drinking their flagship beer, Fat Tire.
Dude, you cannot go wrong with a Fat Tire,
No.
right? I mean, come on.
You can't go wrong with a Fat Tire. It's so good. And anybody that's a fan of ours knows we've been talking about New Belgium lately. They have been sponsoring pickleball tournaments. They're getting into the pickleball world. I love that fact. And for that, I will definitely support New Belgium Brewing.
Webby, I forgot to put my sunglasses back on.
Oh, man, I don't even recognize you. Who are you right now?
Who is this guy right here? Yeah, so I've been drinking the Citradelic Tangerine IPA tonight, and I got to tell you, man, I'm enjoying this. It's just a hint of tangerine. It's not overbearing by any means. It's really good. Very tasty.
Nice. But seriously, like here in Michigan, New Belgium, like when Fat Tire came to Michigan, it was a pretty big deal because, I mean, what was it, like 10 years ago or so? Like the craft beer scene, I feel like wasn't really mainstream yet. And it was a big deal when New Belgium beer, especially Fat Tire, started getting offered here in Michigan. And the fact that they are getting into pickleball, like how friggin' cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, any companies that want to get into pickleball, I'm excited about, but I'm also excited about it when I'm a fan of that company as well. You and I went to New Belgium when we were out in Denver. How long ago was that? 4.5 years, 3.5 years ago? I can't even remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, I bet it's been around 4 years, maybe even more. It's crazy how time flies. That was such a fun trip, though.
That was fun. We hit up Fort Collins. We went to New Belgium there. God, we hit up a ton of breweries. Oscar Blues.
Yeah.
That place was fun. Was that where we were playing that game where you try and throw that? There's like a washer on the end of a string, and you try and throw it and get it hooked onto the other end. Was that where we played that?
I think it was at Oscar Blues. It was so damn frustrating too, because like there's a string hanging from the ceiling with a washer on it, and then there's a hook on the wall, and you got to you let the you bring it up and then let it go, and you want it to swing and land on the hook on the wall, and it seemed so easy, but it was so damn difficult to do. But it was like the kind of thing where like you didn't want to stop doing it until you were successful.
So it's called the Bimini ring game, I think. That or Tiki Toss. I see two different versions of that. But yeah, I want to put one here in the house because it's a fun game to have while you're enjoying some beers. You know, it's just something to do, keep your hands busy rather than, just, I don't know, sitting around eating food or whatever. It's just fun to get out and get active. And it was a fun little game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
That was a fun trip. You remember that, what was that disc golf place we went to? Ghost Town? Something like that? What was
Ghost
that?
Town. Yep. I have a disc over there. It's a little bit out of reach, but I have a disc from that place. But yeah, it was the Ghost Town disc golf course. Man, that place was cool. Like it was like it was literally an old time gold mine or something. Like it was something that used to be used for something many, many years ago. And then they kind of revamped it. Like they made the town look like traditional, like movie Hollywood style ghost town. And it was super cool. But what I remember most about it is that I had a hard time breathing there because the elevation was so high. Do you remember that?
Well, the altitude was so high, and I mean, yeah, it's very different. I mean, where you live in Michigan, you're at what, 100 feet above sea level? I think here I'm at 30 feet above sea level. So I don't know, maybe you're at 200 feet, but still, it's crazy.
But yeah, it was crazy. It was well worth it though. I mean, you can't, as long as you don't run around too much, you're okay. But yeah, the pressure in the chest was a little scary at first, but I got used to it and I loved that place. But man, that was a great trip. One of these days, I think we should post some footage because I've got a lot of great footage from that trip that I think would be fun to post on the Eddie and Webby channel one of these days.
You should do that. We have a couple YouTube comments. Griddle Me This says, love the Belgiums, and that hook game is the bomb. Once you get it, it is the bomb. A great drinking game. I agree. That was
Nice.
a lot of fun. And then our buddy Wings Media guy said, I just got out of class. Good to catch the show. I mean, since you're in Japan, it's like the opposite time for us. So
Yeah.
happy that you were able to join us here. That's cool. That's Chris Medina.
Twitch Chris 2.0.
Yeah.
Twitch Chris 2.0.
Yep.
Yeah, I always love hearing from Chris. And one of these days, Chris is gonna be part of Webby versus everybody, and probably the Medina brothers will be part of an Eddie and Webby challenge. Like you and I will team up against them at some point. That's gonna be super fun. Can't wait for that.
Do we have a name for that series? Because we have the Eddie versus Webby matches. You have Webby versus everybody. What are we gonna call it when it's Eddie and Webby versus everybody? Because like you and I played Kyle Yates, but we really haven't had any other matches like that.
Right. Yeah, we got to come up with something. Eddie and Webby take on the world. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Eddie and Webby versus everyone. So it's Webby versus everybody.
Right. Yeah. So for those unaware, so we have a series called or on the YouTube channel, there's a series called Webby versus everybody. And I feel like people from Michigan and the Detroit area, they get it, but everybody else doesn't really get why I called it Webby versus everybody. And the reason for that is there is a song out there by Eminem and a group of other rappers, some from the Detroit area, maybe all from the Detroit area. But there's a song called Detroit versus Everybody. And as everybody knows, I'm from the Detroit area. I love wearing my old English D hat. So I thought it would be fun to call this series Webby versus Everybody.
It's been some good matches so far, and it seems like they've been pretty good learning experiences for you as well, which is really cool.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I hope, like the whole purpose of it is like, even though I get stomped and destroyed by these high level players, at the end of every episode, they give me some tips that I think everybody watching can learn from. Like they'll see what I did wrong, and then the pros will give their advice on like, hey, if you do this, you can do better than how horrible you did against me. So, cool. But I'm like, the most recent one was against Andrea Coop. That was super fun. I learned a lot. But I'm telling you, the next one is going to be a super fun episode. It's against Zane Navratil, and we did a few fun little tweaks. They're not traditional pickleball matches. We did some things to kind of equalize it a bit. The things we did gave me a chance to beat him, and I think you'll be surprised at the outcome. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait. It's going to come out sometime in the next few days, maybe early next week.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. When I ran into Zane Navratil, Gucci Zane, in Punta Gorda for the APP event, he wanted to talk with me about it. And for those of you guys listening out there watching, Webby doesn't tell me a lot about some of these fun things that he does, because I like when it's a surprise to me when he posts a video to the channel showing something cool. And Zane wanted to talk to me about it, and I'm like, no, like I don't know anything about it, and I want it to be a surprise. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be all about.
Yeah, for sure. And what a lot of people don't realize, like sometimes Eddie doesn't see these videos till they go live, like publicly. Like there are times where we'll share the video before it goes live and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Anything you think we should do to spice it up, make it better? But in a lot of cases, like the first time he's seeing it is when the first time all of you are seeing it. So, and I think that it kind of adds to the fun. And it's just that's what I really love our YouTube channel. Like it's like, because you and I, like, we're on opposite sides of the country. I'm in Michigan, you're in Florida. So like we're not physically together very often, like maybe just a couple times a year. And so like a lot of the video stuff that we do, it's like you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. And when we post the stuff, it's new to us, and it's awesome. And I love the fact, like, I'm always trying to entertain you. I feel like you're always trying to entertain me. And I feel like that makes for some great entertaining videos.
I agree. And what I think is really cool too is it's our own unique styles. like our vlogging styles are very different, but we both have our own style, our own format, our own things that we like to be able to do. One thing that I love, it's like my biggest passion is I love the cinematic camera shots, and I love having music really set the mood for a video. So a lot of my videos, even matches, that's what I try and go for. Is I try and incorporate that as much as possible, because that gets me going. And I it's a style that I really enjoy, and that's what kind of keeps me going back to it. You know.
Oh, for sure. And I've said this forever, like audio in a lot of cases is more important
Mm-hmm.
than like the quality of the video. So like you were saying, like the music that
Yeah.
really drives the feel and the flow of a video and stuff like that. And then add to that, like you've got some really high quality cameras with like really cinematic looks to them. Like I've been involved in video production a lot longer than you have, but lately, like the cinematic style you've been doing, like it's like I definitely want to up my game and start to get more into the cinematic style because that's really nice looking what you've been doing lately.
Thanks, man. I love it. I spend a lot of time like researching it, looking at good lenses to use, ND filters, the right settings in the camera, using stabilization, trying to frame the shot right, using things to build depth. I mean, like with this lens right here, you can see being able to get that nice bokeh effect behind me, which you can see it's like how it gets blurry. That's a very, pleasant cinematic feel, because it's how our eyes see the world. And I love it, man. It's so much fun.
Oh, for sure. And for the
Yeah.
longest time, I was using a cheap Logitech camera and like a very good webcam, like for
Hmm.
webcam purposes, but for podcast purposes, it's not quite as clean.
Yeah.
And so, like, you convinced me to get the camera that I have now.
Yep.
So yeah, like when I hold stuff up to it, like you can see what I'm holding, nice and smooth. Everything else
Yep.
in the background is blurred out. Such a sexy look.
I agree, man. We actually had a sexy question come in, and this came from Griddle Me This, and Griddle Me asks, "How do you think the new rule changes are going to affect the game?" Do you want me to take this one first, or do
Ooh.
you want to give your perspective?
No, you go ahead. You give your perspective first, and then I'll chime in.
I think it's going to change the game very little. Griddle Me This, I really do. I think the biggest ones are obviously going to be the drop serve and having to play let serves that land in play. Those are the biggest ones. To me, I'm a huge proponent of playing let serves, and I know I mentioned this, and it's a very personal story to me. But I was in a league against opponents who are notorious cheaters, and anytime that I had a serve that came close to the net that they either weren't able to return, or they weren't able to return well, they would immediately just call it a let serve. And so the fact that there's not that ambiguity around it, from what I understand in tennis, it's very easy to know when a let serve takes place. It's very loud. It definitely changes the trajectory of the ball greatly. Where in pickleball, it's not as noticeable. So I'm actually okay with that rule. For the couple of times in a tournament where it might suck, I think it's going to make the ref's job easier, and I think it's going to ultimately make it to where there's just less ambiguity in the game, which anytime we can get rid of ambiguity, I'm with. The drop serve one, I don't know. I still think it's a stupid rule. I think it's provisional, and I think it's going to go away. I don't see the advantage to it. Personally, I don't think it's the benefit of getting newer people into the sport, or people who might have the yips, or people who can't get a ball into a box kitty corner from them. I just don't see it helping that much. And the help that it might bring, I think it's just going to make the serve that much more of a weapon in pickleball, which the serve was intentionally created to not be a weapon. And I don't know. I don't see that one sticking around for very long. But do I think it's going to have a major impact in the game? Not really.
All right. I definitely agree with you about the let serve thing. I like the new rule. I don't think it'll impact things. There's a lot of people out there that think that it's going to give an unfair advantage to the server. But if you think about it, like if you're trying to hit the net on your serve, like you're going to fail. In my opinion, I think you're going to fail way
Yeah.
more than you're going to succeed. So,
Yeah.
like the people that say like, oh, like everybody's just going to hit the net on their
No.
serve, that's not going to happen. Like
No.
it's going to cause way more errors than successful net serves if you're trying to do that. So
Have
I
people
think
really
that's
been saying
BS
that,
right
Webby?
there. Yeah, I've
Real?
been looking at the pickleball forum. There are a lot of people that think that it's gonna cause people to like be able to like have better serves because they think people are gonna like be able to purposefully hit the net and they could just barely get over the kitchen line to be legal. Because I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like you still have to get past the kitchen. You can't
Right.
just like dribble it over
Dribble
the
over.
net.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the thing that gets to me. Like so many people that are complaining about these new rules, they haven't actually read the rule because like you still, like I said, for the let serve, like if it hits the net, it's got to clear the kitchen. It still
Yep.
has to hit into the legal area. So that part we are both in agreement on. When it comes to
Can
the
I do one
drop
challenge
serve,
real quick before you get
yeah,
to
go
the
ahead.
drop serve?
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Yeah, for sure.
if anybody out there, if you're one of those people that's on the good servers are going to intentionally place it over the net, or I'm so good I can do that. You know what? Send us a video, a legitimate video of you. You get 10 serves. That's all you get. Not edited, 10 serves in a row. If you can intentionally make one of your 10 be a let serve that lands in the box intentionally, then I don't know. I'll give you $100. Like, and somebody might get lucky and might do it, and it'll be a cool experience. But the
Right.
the likelihood of somebody intentionally trying to be able to do that, no, I don't buy it for a second.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've been doing a lot lately too on the pickleball forum. Like when it comes to the people that are like so adamant about these new rules being unfair, I'll reply. I'll be like people will say like, oh, well, I experienced how like this serve or the like it was unfair. Like people were unable to return because of these new rules. And I was like, oh man, that's crazy. I'd love to see video of you being able to do these unreturnable serves or the people like serving against you. And nobody has been able to accept my challenge and send me video footage or video proof of these unreturnable serves of people the net cord purposefully.
Yeah.
And also same thing with the drop serve. So I feel like you and I kind of have opposing views on the drop serve. I know that you think that it's going to be a major weapon for people, and you don't think it's a huge advantage for beginners. But I disagree with that. I think the drop serve it makes it much easier for beginners to serve more consistently. And I think people that are suffering from the yips, I think will like lower level people that have the yips. I think they will be able to serve better if they do the drop serve. And the reason why I say that is because I've done the drop serve recently, and I feel like I was way more accurate with it because I am somebody who has suffered from the yips. I am a lower level player. I'm not that high level, and I definitely think I have a better serve doing the drop serve. Like I'm more consistent with it. And then we had Steve Peranto on the podcast recently, and he's the reason for this change. He's the one that's been pushing. It was his idea. He's the one that's been pushing for this drop serve. And like he said, sure, a pro level player, they're going to destroy a 4-0 level player or below if they do the drop serve because they know how to manipulate the ball. Great. But there's also a great chance that if they were using the traditional serve, they're going to destroy you and ace you on the serve. And I've experienced that with Zane Navratil and Andrea Coop. I did the Webby versus Everybody series, and neither of them used the drop serve, and they still were able to ace me and get like serves that I couldn't return. I have yet to have anybody do a drop serve against me that I couldn't return, and I feel like I'm not that great of a player. And I've played against I've been doing a lot of singles lately. I've played against a lot of people, and some of these people have done the drop serve, and I haven't had any issues returning the drop serve. Like nothing, like no more issues than I have with the regular serve. So I don't know. I'm on the side that thinks the drop serve is a good rule. I do think it'll help people that are newer to the game, and I don't think it's going to impact people too much because like the high level players, the pro level players, yeah, they're going to be able to weaponize it. but the people they're playing against, I think, are going to be totally fine reacting to it.
Well, don't you think that, and this wasn't even a drop serve, it was just a modification to the serve. We saw at APP Punta Gorda, we saw Zane being able to take Tyson McGuffin for, and Zane won gold against him in men's singles. And I think that his serve was, I don't know if it was the factor, but I think it was the equalizer that allowed him to use his other talents to be able to win gold against Tyson. And I think that's an example of where now you're adding the drop serve on top of it, which is even an additional weapon. It's going to, I think it's going to change that. It's going to alter and shift what people are focusing on. And in pickleball, from what I understand, and I wasn't there when pickleball was created, but from what I understand and from what I've heard from everybody, the serve was intentionally designed to be underhand without the ability to be able to put backspin on it, so that it wasn't used as a weapon. It was used as something to get the ball into play. And really the return of serve is where the big weapon is. And now it's going to change. So I don't know that it's necessarily like, oh, this is going to be a horrible change, or this is going to be a drastic change or anything like that. It is going to change it, not a ton, but I think it's going to change it in a direction that the sport wasn't necessarily intended for. And that was to just have a neutral serve.
Okay. I see where you're coming from, but I've seen some arguments saying that the reason, like the original serve, when the game got created, they didn't have pickleballs. Pickleballs didn't exist. They used wiffle balls, and wiffle balls were made of a different material. And they literally, if you dropped a wiffle ball, it would go maybe like, I don't know, 10 inches, 12 inches. They're like the wiffle balls don't bounce as high as pickleballs do. So I feel like that rule, I mean, it wasn't a possibility. Like doing a drop wasn't a possibility because the ball didn't bounce much.
Yeah.
So I kind of think like it's because of what they had to work with at the time. But I mean, like, I don't know. I can see both sides because like they wanted to make a game that both kids and adults could enjoy, and there wasn't like a dominating factor. So I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. But at the same point, or at the same time, like what they were using when their game got created was a lot different than the stuff we have access to today.
Yeah, and any conversations around that are, in my opinion, pure speculation. Unless you were there when the game was created, it's really hard to tell why it was intended. It just seems to me like if you're going to put that many rules on a serve, it's probably because they wanted to avoid it from being a weapon. It's probably because they wanted it to separate it from tennis, where tennis is all about the serve. And, you mentioned a couple of things here. Let's say you and I went to play tennis against Serena Williams, for example. And let's say you and I even trained for every single day in tennis for the next year. If she hit us 100 serves, how many of those 100 serves with a year straight of training do you think that we'd be able to return?
Probably not a lot.
It could very well be that we would not be able to return one frickin' serve, right?
Yeah.
Now, same boat. You go up against, let's say, Tyson McGuffin, who notoriously has one of the best serves in the game. And he hits you 100 serves without a drop serve. How many of them are you going to be able to return?
Probably not a lot, but more than tennis, I bet.
Yeah, probably significantly more. Now you add the drop serve, and that number is still going to be significantly more than where you're at in tennis. All I'm saying is that it almost seems like it was intentionally made to say, this isn't going to be like tennis. This is going to be a game where the serve it's not a weapon. It's a way to set up a play properly. Hey, you want to get a deep serve and make it to where it's a hard return of serve, giving yourself plenty of time to get to the net and really keep your opponents back. Awesome. But not a weapon for an ace, or just to completely just destroy and frustrate your opponent.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think like now that the drop serve is legal, do you think the pros are going to start using the drop serve, or do you think they're going to stick to what they're used to, the regular traditional serve?
I think if I were to guess, I would say that most of the pros, if not all, have tried the drop serve by now in practice. And I do think that in these coming tournaments, we're going to see them come out occasionally. But do I think that the pros are going to start doing it on a regular basis? Not off the bat, and definitely not in doubles play. If you look at some of the top players in the game in doubles, they're not doing much with their serves. They're just trying to get a deep serve that's in the box, right? That's it. That's all they're trying to do. So I don't think they're going to see this as an opportunity to add to their arsenal. In singles, though, that's where I see this becoming more prevalent. What do you think?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. Like, I feel like a majority of the pros are going to stick with the traditional serve. I don't think they're going to do the drop serve. Man, in singles, will they do it though? That's a great question. I could see maybe in singles people starting to do that, but I would put my money on they're going to stick with the traditional serve.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens, but
yeah,
well, it'll be interesting. That's for sure.
Definitely. Great questions though. I did want to put a comment out here from John Davidson that is still blowing my freaking mind. And John says, "Y'all will be surprised. I'm doing a sober January." Did somebody break onto your computer and post this as a joke? Did you start today knowing that you only have 3 days left in the month?
Right.
We got some questions, John. So if you're out there, or maybe you want to join live and explain exactly what you mean by that, reach out to us, because we need some more clarity on what in the heck you mean by a sober January.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would say that John Davison's Facebook account got hacked, because I'm not buying that he was sober all of January. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Not buying it. Webby, we brought up singles. I've been playing a ton of singles a lot more lately, and I know you have too. You've actually done 2 tournaments in the last couple months, and actually already won in 2021, right?
Yeah, so believe it or not, like, I've played more singles than doubles in the past year. Like, if you combine all the times I've played pickleball in the last year, I've played more singles than doubles, which is crazy. If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, that, like, definitely wouldn't have been the case, because I thought like singles was something I just couldn't handle. I was in my mid 30s, almost close to getting close to 40. There's no way my body would handle singles. But this is like I've said before, this is the one thing I can thank COVID for is like I wanted to make sure I was like as safe as possible.
Yeah.
So I figured like there's no risk playing singles. So I played a lot of singles, and I found my cardio getting better. My body was able to handle it better, and I've learned to really like it a lot. And it's such a different game compared to doubles. It is so different. I mean, like the strategy. Like in doubles, you want to make sure you want to hit it down the middle. Down the middle solves the riddle, so they say. But in singles, you do not want to hit it down the middle. You want to make sure you hit it to the side, but like to the proper side, because you mainly the backhand. You want to hit to their backhand. Yeah. But man, it's tough though. Like I know what I want to do when playing singles, but I just anybody who has watched me play singles, I don't do what I should do.
What's your strategy? When you start a match, what are you trying to do?
So I know in my mind, I know I want to hit it away from where they're at, so they don't have a good chance of getting the ball back to me. But for some reason, whenever I play, it's, I don't know, I get, I don't know if I get scared or I get anxious or what, but I play it safe.
I want to.
Pretty much. That's basically, when you watch me play, it looks like I'm playing catch with them, because I hit it right to them, because I know I should hit it to the side. But basically what happens is at the beginning of the game, I'll try to hit to the side and I'll hit it out of bounds, and I'll be like, shit, okay, I don't want to hit it out of bounds. I'll just hit it in bounds, and just hopefully they'll mess up. But typically the people that play singles don't really mess up if you hit it right to them. So I I need to get better. I need to get better at my placement. I know drilling would definitely be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I've told a lot of people before, I unfortunately I don't have the luxury of a lot of free time. So I don't have a lot of time to go on the court and drill. Like lately I've been playing like twice a month, and that's a good month for me. And I just want to play. I don't want to drill. I want to play. So like I'm more about having fun on the pickleball court than focusing on drilling and stuff like that. So like I absolutely understand if I drill, I'll get better at tournament play. But because of my limited time, I just want to play when I'm out there. And so I think that's definitely if I want to get better at competing at the higher level, if I want to do better in tournaments, I fully realize I need to drill, but I would rather play a game and have fun, and it's unfortunately that's why I'm not doing as good.
I mean, I'm with you, man. You have like I spend probably actually more than 50% of my time right now on the pickleball court is drilling, either doing drills or playing skinny singles. That literally more than 50% of my time on the court is doing that. And I think that you have to, like, if you,
Mhm.
so recently a higher level player and I were talking, and they basically said, you're never going to get better playing in your community. You're going to get better so much more if you spent a quarter of that time drilling and the remaining 75%, some sort of exercise along with rec games. But you're never going to get better if you're just going and playing recreationally. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I agree. I totally agree. Like I fully realize that. Like when I watch myself play, I cringe so bad. Like anybody that watches the videos I post, I'm cringing along with you. Like I see what I'm doing wrong. It's not good. Like I am not a good player. I see that.
Well, I mean, everybody when they watch themselves play should cringe to a certain level because, it's I guess it's just how much are you cringing? Are you cringing because 1 out of every 5 points you hit a bad shot? Are you cringing because it's like every single shot is bad? It's like finding that balance of the appropriate amount of cringe when you watch yourself play.
Yeah, luckily it's not every single shot is bad because even when I played Andrea Coop, like I had a few rallies where like I looked pretty good. Unfortunately, a majority of them I did not look good. But there's like, man, there's so many times, especially in the most recent tournament video, the singles round robin tournament video that I posted. There were so many times where I did the right thing, I got myself set up, and then the person set me up for a slam, and I go to smash it, and it goes into the net, or I hit it out of bounds. And it's the stuff like that. That's what kills me. It's like, man, like I did what I should have done.
Yep.
Got myself set up for the put away, and then I effed up the put away.
Yeah, they gave you what you wanted, right? They did everything that you tried to get them to do, and then you shit the bed.
And then that's exactly where drilling would come in handy, because if I knew if I set myself up, like if I did some drills where like the ball was popped up and then I did a little overhead smash, I could do the right thing. But man, it's just it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm getting better though. Like I do feel like I my last tournament of 2020 was a singles round robin tournament, and I got 4 victories and 7 losses, and I was not happy with that. So I did my first tournament of 2021 was the exact same tournament. There were a few of the same players. There were a bunch of different players that I didn't play before. But like my goal was to at least do better than I did in my last tournament of 2020, and then obviously try to get the gold medal. But I did worse than my outcome was worse if you look at like the stats, but I feel like I played better, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I did better. I just had worse results.
Yeah. So to me, I think you nailed it. I don't ever look at any of my tournament successes or failures based on my wins or losses. I look at it as how well did I play? How much fun did I have? Did I play to the level that I've trained? I mean, I'm never going to beat a 5-0 or a pro level player. So it's not like if I went up against him and played against him and I lost, you'd be like, oh, it's a failure. No, it's not. But if I was able to hang and play my game and play consistent and play calm and collected and all those things, then that's a win for me. And I think that, that's the way I look at tournaments. I don't know about you, but that's always how I've been.
Yeah, like for the most part, I am that way. Like I do feel like I care more about winning a medal than you do, and so like I get more disappointed with myself than I should at some points. But like I do overall feel that if I can see improvement, it's a win, and I need to focus on that more. I think, but
Well,
I'll tell
okay.
you,
Yeah.
like when I played against Andrea Coop, I played 5 games against her. 2 of them were full court, 3 of them were skinny singles, and the whole entire time I only got 2 points. And after I was done, I was like, I felt so demoralized, and I was like, man, like this, like I know I'm a lot lower level than her, but I should have been able to get at least more than 2 points. Like I felt really down and out. But
Yeah.
then once she left, I played with people closer to my skill level, and I did really good. So it like proved to me like it's just skill level really doesn't like matter. Like I mean, if you play people that are at the pro level, just don't expect to do all that great. If you play people your own skill level, if you do as bad as you did against the pros, then maybe feel bad about yourself. But yeah, I did a much better when I played against people my own skill level, and so that like brought me up a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, anytime I get the opportunity to play against pro level players too, my focus the whole time is always on play the right shot, have good form, get to the line, put it cross court, block that back into the kitchen. It's never a matter of try and get a win on that or play everything perfectly or my drop shots have to be perfect. It's just be consistent. And what I've also found is if you play to that level, those pros are going to enjoy playing with you.
right,
If you do the wrong shots and you're trying to go for too much or your form looks awful or you're hitting these shots that they're not expecting and that are completely throwing them off and getting these stupid wins, they're not going to want to play with you. And so
right.
that's always what I try and focus on. And fortunately, I feel like the last 5 or 6 opportunities that I've had to play against them, that's been my focus, and it's been incredibly enjoyable. And I think that
Nice.
it's to the point where they would want to play with me again, and that I want to leave there knowing that they would want to play with me again.
Yeah, nice. That's good. But yeah, Andrea Coop and Zane Navratil, they're the only pro level players I've played against as far as singles goes, and it was a great learning experience. I mean, it was like I Andrea destroyed me. Zane, I'm not gonna say what happened. We had, like I said before, we had some equalizers, and I think the episode against Zane is gonna be the most entertaining episode of Webby versus everybody yet, and I'm excited for that. That'll be coming out very soon.
Cool. I'm excited to see that.
So what about you, Eddie? Though I know you've had some pretty exciting things going on recently, especially since the last time we did a dinking around. Didn't you help with a big pro tour? In fact, I'm so interested in hearing what you have to say. I think we should go to a camera shot of just you talking about it for a few minutes.
Got it. So yes, I did help out with the APP Punta Gorda live stream. I actually did like a little vlog behind the scenes video on our YouTube channel. You guys should go check out. I liked it. I think it turned out to be a really good video. But basically, it was Kyle Salenko with Boxcar Productions, who was working with Steve Taylor, Randy Coleman, and then from the commentary crew, you had Laura McLaughlin, Dominic Catalano, and Dave Fleming. And I basically came in and helped with that. My main role was I was doing a lot of the camera switching during the event. So going from baseline to kitchen cam to the attaboy shots and stuff like that. That was my main role. And it was a blast. I had a great time with that event. So much so that I'm actually going to be helping them out again in March at the Delray Beach tournament. I love what the APP is doing. Ken Herman, this guy's busting his butt to bring awesome pickleball to you guys through the APP. I think Delray Beach is going to be an amazing tournament. I'm excited to be a part of that as well. And in that tournament, I'm going to be playing a little bit different of a role. I'm still going to be doing camera switching, but also going to be doing some of the production directing as well. So it's a fun group to be able to work with. One thing that I've learned is that I love working with a team when it comes to doing these live streams. I've done a lot of it where the vast majority of the work falls on me, or it's me doing the production with a commentator or two. And with this, it's a whole team effort that leads to, a solid production. And that's one of the things that I enjoyed most about it, was working with a team rather than it just kind of being, me doing it. So what did you think about everything I just said, Webby? I know you were listening the whole time, right?
Yeah, I heard everything you said, and I thought it was super interesting. The APP tour, you were part of it.
Yes. But again, if you guys want to check out a lot of people want to know what it's like behind the scenes in the broadcast tent. Go check out the APP Punta Gorda vlog I did. I don't remember what I named it. I never remember, but it's on our YouTube channel. It's from a few weeks ago. Definitely check it out. But that's not the only exciting project that I have outside of Eddie and Webby going on. Right, Webby?
Yeah, this week, the Around the Post show debuted for the first time with Jonny Pickleball and Kyle Yates, and it was produced by none other than our man here, Eddie, of the Eddie and Webby show.
Yes, you might have seen our little 30-second commercial spot in there, which I'm excited about. And I'm really excited about the project. So this is like a collaborative effort between Jonny Pickleball, Kyle Yates, and myself. Johnny's the main host. Kyle Yates is the co-host. And I don't really have much of a speaking role in the show, which I'm actually grateful about. I do most of the producing, and honestly, the non-speaking role, why I like it, is for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're going to talk about some very controversial things that I don't know that I don't want to say that I would be uncomfortable sharing my opinion on, but I don't know if I feel extreme enough to the level that they do, to where I'd be able to give much of a passionate discussion around it. Jonny and Kyle are both incredibly passionate about the stuff that they want to bring up. It is very controversial. And basically, I just want to be there to be able to give them the platform to be able to speak to it. I don't necessarily agree with 100% of what they say, and that's okay. I don't have to. I just want to give them the ability to do it. And it's also been a lot of fun, Webby, and I don't know if you have any experience with this in your years of, video production, but doing a sports entertainment opinion show is a very different thing than a podcast. It's a very different thing than a vlog. It's a very different thing than instructional videos. And I had to do a ton of research and learn about, okay, what's the right flow? You have to have music playing to support what people are talking about. It's got to be quick segments. Like, there's all these things that go into making a successful sports show. Do you have any experience with that at all?
I don't. And I'll admit, like, I was both excited and nervous to see what the outcome of for this show, because I knew that they were going to go after the USAPA, which I have been an ambassador for the past couple of years, and I have always appreciated what the USAPA has done for pickleball. But at the same time, I realized there are a lot of people that have problems with how the USAPA is handling things lately, especially the higher ups. A lot of very respectable people in pickleball that have been involved with the USAPA have problems with how things are being handled these days. So I think I thought it was handled very well. I thought Kyle and Jonny both articulated very well what their concerns were, and I had nothing to do with the show, and I was like a fan. Like, when I heard about the show, like when everybody else saw it, that was the first time I saw the show, and I thought it was great. I thought guys did a great job. It was like fast paced, it was entertaining, a little bit controversial, and I think that's a great thing for pickleball. I think we need something like that. We need somebody to kind of question what's going on in the world today in the USAPA, because not everybody understands or agrees what's going on, and I think it's great to get that out there.
That's cool. Yeah, it's definitely a fun challenge, a fun project. I'm excited to be a part of it. Obviously Jonny and Kyle are incredible athletes. But I got to tell you, man, I always knew that Jonny, like, to me, like, this is such a natural fit for Jonny. He has the voice, he has the personality, he has the ability to kind of be a great host and have that stream of consciousness that transitions well from segment to segment and keep things moving fast. It's an incredibly natural fit for him. But I also was incredibly impressed with Kyle. I didn't know that Kyle was such a good public speaker. You know, he was on our podcast, and then he also did that little segment where he made tacos when we had Irina on our podcast. And I always thought that, like, to me, Kyle could be if I met him and he said he was an actor, I'd believe it. He's got the look for it. He has that kind of way about himself. He seems like he'd be incredibly gifted when it comes to, like theater or whatnot. But I didn't know he was also a very good public speaker. And he used, inflections with his voice. He used proper tone. I think he did an incredible job during the Kyle Yates rant of the week during that show as well. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what I just said there, Webby.
No, I thought he did a great job. And one thing, like, I've never really talked about, but the first time I ever met Kyle in person was when we did the 2-versus-1 match at Beer City Open 2019. And going into it, like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Kyle was kind of a douchey person, like a my shit don't stink type of person. And like I was like, I wasn't a giant fan of him just because I had this preconceived notion that he was just a douchebag. But when I met him in person, he was super nice. He, like, I don't know, it meeting him in person changed my perspective of him, and I saw, like, how passionate he was about pickleball, and that, like, what we saw on camera was it was really his passion for pickleball. And like it totally changed things for me, because if you're watching Kyle, I'm sorry for saying that I thought you were a douchebag, but that's just that's like what I felt about you just from what I've seen in pickleball tournaments and stuff like that. But when I met you in person and saw how you treated pickleball, it's just because you were so friggin' passionate about it. And it just in like when I heard that you guys were doing that show, I don't know why, but I thought that he was just going to go off on a tangent and just be like very controversial just for the sake of being controversial. But on the show, I thought he handled it perfectly. I thought the way he explained everything, the way he was feeling, I thought it was great. And I've had a lot to drink tonight too, so hopefully I'm articulating myself the way that I want to.
There's a little bit of rambling there, but
yeah,
it's all good. Hey, Kyle, if you're watching this, I never thought you were a douchebag, by the way, just for the record. I always liked you. Still do. That's funny. Well, if you guys want to check out Around the Post, you can check it out on Facebook at Around the Post Show, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all at Around the Post Show. There's going to be a new episode dropping in 13 days. So it's going to come out every 2 weeks. And if it takes off, who knows? Maybe we can move to every week. We want to get some momentum and keep this train going. So check it out.
Nice.
Let us know what you guys think. And we also do a few fun segments on there. We do Game Face. We do Epic Fail, Really Dude. And we also do Top Play of the Week. So if you guys have any videos that you think would be good or pictures of you for the Game Face, email those over to info@aroundthepostshow.com, and you guys could be potentially featured on the show. So send them on over.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, I'm a fan. I thought it was great.
Good.
I look forward to the next episode. Honestly, I think it's the best hot takes type of show that's ever been produced in the pickleball world.
That's what I like to hear, Webby. And that means a lot coming from you, because I know that, you have an eye for production even more than I do. And so to hear that, to hear that you like the content, but you also like the production value of it, that means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, I thought the flow was great. It was very fast paced. It got to the point. There was no fluff. no BS. I thought it was awesome. I'm a big fan.
Good. Well, that's really all that's going on in my world. Is there anything else going on in your world?
Not a whole lot. I do want to bring up one story. I almost forgot about it, but it involves both, like, two of the biggest new rule changes: the drop serve and the let serve rule that are in play. And recently, earlier this week, I was playing with my buddy Partha. We were playing some singles, and he admitted he hadn't really done much. He hadn't dabbled in the drop serve too much, so he started doing the drop serve. So he served it. He did the drop serve. His serve hit the net, barely went over the kitchen line, and I couldn't return it. So, of course, I got burned by both of the new rules in one serve. But I have no problem with it. I thought it was awesome. But to be honest, I feel like I probably could have gotten to the serve, but because the past few years it's burned into my head that the let serve, like if it hits the net, just ease up. They got to redo it. And I was like, shit.
Yep.
Like I should have gone for it. Like I easily could have gone for it, but because it's been burned into my head that once it hits the net, it's a let. I think it's going to take me a few weeks for that to sink in, but once it does sink in, I think it'll be fine, because I am a big proponent. I am totally fine with the whole let serve thing being a legal serve rather than a let. But I did get burned from my buddy Partha. He did the drop serve, it hit the net, and I didn't return it just because I'm so used to not returning a let serve.
You bring up a good point. I think it's going to take a little while for people to be in the mindset of, oh, I got to be paying attention even after the serve hits the net. I think it's going to take a little bit of an adjustment period. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be an adjustment, but I think once we all get used to it, I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I don't think it's going to be the pickleball apocalypse like a lot of people seem to think.
The pickle apocalypse.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've got. I think I feel like we covered quite a bit here on our first dinking around of 2021.
That's right. I forgot how much I love dinking around with Eddie and Webby, because it's just a very loose format. We just talk about stuff that's going on with us. If you guys ever want to be a guest in the future, when we start up dinking around with Eddie and Webby, reach out to us. We can always try and pull you on live, hot, get you in the action. We've done it before. We can do it again. This has been Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby number 32. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.